tryna be like nobody else. No, I ain't tryna be like nobody else. No, I ain't tryna be like nobody else. Cause I'm having too much fun tryna be myself. No, I'm not the type of chick that like to follow trends. I got a small circle, no, don't need a lot of friends. You know I gotta get this money cause I like to spend. I see you haters watching, so I just give you a grin.
How you guys doing? It's your girl Lahcamillion, and I'm back with another episode of Justheretovent. I was supposed to actually post this video earlier this morning. That didn't take place because I had some other things to take care of, but I am back. And ready to talk about Raising Kanan, Season 2, Episode 3. Super good episode. Definitely a little bit more chilled than last episode as far as, action and stuff like that, but it started off with Unique. Just to let y'all know, if y'all did not already watch the episode, please don't watch this video. Wait till you watch the episode and then watch the video so you guys can understand the review a little bit more. So it started out with Unique. Now, we all know that he's down and out. Rock messed up everything for him. She got him locked up. She took his boys off the corner. She took all his product. She basically made him like a hot commodity, and not in a good way. So he comes to the bodega where Rock is keeping all of her money, and he had a gun up to, I forgot her name, I think it's Julia, something like that. He had a gun up to her face, so, and come to find out he ended up robbing the money and taking all of Rock's money. Now, after that scene, we move into Kanan. Kanan gets approached by Malcolm. Malcolm tells him to come get in the car, and you can tell that, like, Kanan didn't really want to get in the car, but he kind of was like, do I kind of have a choice? Because, Malcolm is still a cop, okay? So it's like, kind of felt like, I don't really know. And then, of course, it's almost like seeing the dead because, before he found out, that he was back alive, he thought he killed him dead, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like a little bit scary, and he felt real apprehensive, but he got in the car nonetheless. And Malcolm don't waste no time. He gets straight to the point. He asks Kanan what his mom told him about him, and Kanan just was like, like I told you before, we don't really talk about you. She didn't really tell me too much about you. And, Malcolm, let him know, like, hey, you're my son, I'm your father. And I know it's going to sound crazy. Kanan did kind of laugh because, he obviously wasn't buying what he was selling. He didn't really believe what he was saying. So they chop it up for a little bit, and, Malcolm is just trying to let him know, like, hey, I'm trying to be in your life. I wasn't there before because I just found out that you were my son, yada, yada, yada. Kanan's just like, uncomfortable with the conversation, so he let him know that he getting ready to go meet up with his friends, and he had to go take care of some stuff. So he gets out of the car, boom. So Kanan meets up with Famous. They trying to sell Famous mixtapes because, Famous is technically homeless right now. Not technically, that nigga is homeless right now. He's living out on the streets. He's sleeping on trains and at the Y, stuff like that. So they tried to sell his mixtapes in the last episode, but, nobody wanted to buy that shit. So that's what they was meeting up for, so they could, either figure out what the next game plan was or to try to finish selling the mixtapes. And that's when Famous let Kanan know that Scrap was dead, said that he committed suicide. Now, Kanan looking like real perplexed because he doesn't believe that Scrap committed suicide. It just didn't make any sense to him. And he's right to believe that, you know what I mean? So he's also kind of wondering, like, hey, like, why my mom didn't tell me this? Like, that's one of her closest soldiers, her most loyal soldiers. He's been down with them since, like he said, since he was 14. It's like, why didn't she let him know about Scrap? So he already kind of like, he didn't believe it at first, but then Famous let him know. Famous changed subjects, like, hey, I understand, you feeling some type of way, but we got to get back to try to get in these mixtapes sold because I'm trying to get me a place to stay. We out on the streets. So Kanan tell him that they're going to do something different, and they ended up deciding to throw all of the actual tapes inside of the tape container in the trash, and, he going to buy it with he going to lace it with some drugs instead, and, he going to be selling the drugs, and, the mixtape is just going to be a front. So before he get to actually getting the drugs, we get to, I think it's Marvin. I want to say Marvin's scene was next. He's in anger management. And no, that's not the scene that's next. What's next is Rock pulls up to bodega. So she pulls up to the bodega or whatever. And basically, it's locked. it looked like, you know, not abandoned, but it looked like they shut down. It already didn't make, she's looking like real confused. She started calling the lady like, hey, you know, her phone's going straight to voicemail. She left her a voicemail like, you know, what's going on? Call me as soon as you get this. Why you got the store locked up? So Rock started trying her different keys. She finally gets inside, but she pulls her gun out before she went inside because, you know, you got to always be on standby because you don't know what you're walking into. So she comes into the store. She see that the register is pulled open. First thing she does is go to the back, you know, and see if her money is still there, which obviously it's not. As y'all know, you know, Unique took the money. Now, obviously, she's not privy to that information right then and there when she finds out that the money is gone. Her initial thought goes to, I think her name is Juliana, something like that. Her initial thought goes to her, though, and she feels like she thinks she took it, you know, thinks she robbed her, thinks she tried to get over on her. So she just trying to, like, figure out what her next move is going to be. Then we head over to the studio with Lulu in the studio with Crown, and they got Zia. She's in the booth, you know, singing a song that they wrote for her or whatever. And she liked the song, but her manager, he's not really feeling it. He's saying that he feel like she needs a bigger record, something that's for sure going to sell. He's trying to have something that's on, you know, #1 type status, and he didn't feel like that was the song. She herself liked the song, but, you know, he was just like, he wants something more. And, you know, they like, okay, you know, they can figure that out. But before they show her in the studio, Zia singing her song, Juke is in the studio singing. And, you know, they really feeling it. They feeling the song, Crown, Lulu. They really all feeling it. Once she's done, she gets out of the booth. Crown makes an observation and says, like, you know, hey, when I close my eyes, I see, I love what I'm hearing, but then when I open my eyes, it's just not the presentation, basically, that people want to see, you know, obviously, because she's kind of, we all know she's a lesbian, but she's like a butch lesbian, so she dresses in baggy clothes, she dresses more masculine versus feminine, and, you know, Lulu at first was taking offense because he didn't like the way that Crown was talking to Jukebox, and he was like, she's a kid, you know, she's a teenager, you know, don't talk to my niece like that. But Crown is spitting facts. You know, if you want to be in the business, everybody knows that sex sells. You know, people buy presentation more so than they buy actual talent. We all can attest to that. So, you know, Juke is getting all in her feelings. Lulu, you know, tried to ease the situation down, but he basically also kind of was saying the same thing, you know, letting her know, like, hey, you are beautiful, you are gorgeous, but you kind of just want to promote yourself a little bit more. Juke is like, oh, y'all want me to dress like a hoochie? And he's like, no, that's not what we're saying. We just want you to, you know, basically make yourself a little bit more feminine, you know. So she got a little bit upset about that, so she left out, you know, kind of in a huff. And Lulu, you know, let Crown know, like, you know, that's my niece, she's a kid, you know, you shouldn't be coming at her like that. But Crown is feeling like, you know, I've been doing this longer than you. I'm telling you exactly what it is, and I'm not telling her anything wrong. This is what she needs to hear, especially if she's trying to make it big, basically to be in, like, the mainstream. So we move from that. We got Marvin, he over there at his anger management. You know, it seems like him and the lady in charge of the class, they might, you know, had something going on later in the season because he was trying to, like, you know, flirt with her. She finally made him talk about what it is that he do when he's upset, because, you know, he wasn't really saying nothing at the meetings, or he was just trying to be smart the whole time. So a door opened there, you know what I mean? So he finally kind of is trying to take it, she's trying to force him to take it seriously because, you know, she keeps giving him the threat of, you know, calling the lawyers or, well, the judge, you know, and, like, letting them know that he's basically non-compliant. So he finally opened up a real little bit, you know, and let her know and everybody in the class know what he does when he's upset. You know what I'm saying? So that was a step in the right direction. I love how they're doing all of the cut scenes, you know, this is going on. Like, everybody has their own storyline. I don't feel like anybody is really, like, you know, I don't want to say living off someone else, but I feel like everybody has their own story that's going on. Like, no one is, what's the word I'm looking for? No one is has, like, a supporting storyline. Like, they all have their own individual storylines. Sorry about that. I know you guys hear the noise in the background. I'm at work. I'm in my car where we are completely dead slow. There's no one here. So I'm sitting in my car so you can hear the other cars driving by. But I gotta pick my moments when I can, like I said before. And moving back to the story, so we get through with Marvin. Now we're back to Rock. You know, she's calling Marvin, trying to. She ended up giving him a beat or a page or whatever, because you know we in the early 90s or whatever. So she ended up paging him. So the lady that's in charge of the anger management class was asking, like, you know, what is that, work, or like, you know, what it is, or, you know, but he kind of just brushed that off and just went back to trying to like flirt with her and everything like that. So Marvin is so funny. He gonna say, yeah, I'm openly attractive. When she told him that he was openly aggressive, I thought that was so funny. He is so silly. Like, I love his character. So Rock is, you know, up in arms. She going crazy. She trying to figure out what's going on. She finally get in touch with Marvin. They talking in the room. She still ain't getting in touch with Lulu. She been paging him and paging him. They show Lulu. We get back to Lulu back in the studio. He making some beats, like trying to get some beats together. And, you know, he saw that Rock was paging him, but he was like, I'm working. You know, you can tell that Lulu is trying to step away, or wants to. She's not going to let him, but he wants to step away from the life. You know, he's trying to focus on this music thing. I think he's ready to go legitimate. That's basically what it's showing in the show. So he ended up not getting back in touch with Rock yet. So she ended up talking to Marvin. They talking. And then we get back to Kanan. Kanan goes to one of the stash houses and, you know, was in there saying that he was looking for his Uncle Marvin, or, you know, looking for Rock. And, you know, he ended up stealing some drugs out of the stash house. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, that's going to come back to bite him in the ass later. I'm just waiting on it. So he stole some drugs because that's what the drugs he going to use to sell. And, you know, he posing them as the mixtape. So he get the drugs, you know, and then him and Famous, you know, they start doing whatever it is they going to be doing. They throw away the tapes, like I said before. So finally, Rock, after she finished talking with Marvin, she ended up pulling up on Lou at the damn studio and shit. She walk in there mad as hell, like, what the fuck? Like, you know, I've been paging you. And Zia's manager is trying to, you know, whoa, Rock, like, he started speaking Shakespeare, you know, he talking all this Othello shit, fucking theater shit, and she's just looking at him like, I don't got time. She's like, I know who you is, but basically letting him know, like, you catching me at a wrong moment. She focused on business, and she focused on cursing Lulu ass out for not answering her damn page. So I thought that scene was so funny because he didn't care that she was mad or nothing. He just sitting there trying to get her number or whatever. So, not her number, well, yeah, basically trying to get her number, trying to talk to her, but she just wasn't, like, feeling him. So Rock and Lulu, they talking in the office. Here come Crown nosy ass. He at the fucking door trying to listen and shit. And even I think his name Cartier or something like that. Zia manager was like, listen, you want nosy, you nosy, like, basically, like, let his ass know, like, you a nosy ass motherfucker. So Crown at the door listening. Rock explains to him, like, what the fuck, you know, I'm paging you, you're not answering the phone. He was, like, telling her something about the studio. You know, she already mad, irritated, like, don't be telling me nothing about the studio. I'm telling you about our business, our real business, the one that's actually giving us some money. Let him know that they got robbed. And she was saying, she only know one person crazy enough to do some shit like that. You know, she think that it's unique. Marvin and both Lulu was thinking that Julianne did this shit on her own or whatever. And Rock was saying that didn't make sense because then she know that they working with her cousin and he's also in the business, and that would affect, like, their relationship as well. They fuck around and kill her whether she family or not. So Rock didn't believe that. So Lulu just, like, sitting there, they talking. Then we go to Detective Burke. She's annoying the shit out of me, and she either going to end up getting killed by somebody from Rock's team, or fucking Malcolm going to take her ass out himself because she's being too nosy. Like, she's sitting here so worried and focused and concerned about, you know, whether Malcolm remember who shot him and all this other stuff. Like, bitch, I'm sure you got other cases to worry about. You need to put your focus there because this business right here is going to end up getting you killed. She's sitting there reminiscing with her dad. They talking about her mom, you know, stuff she used to do. You know, I'm assuming her mom passed away. I believe how the conversation was going when she was talking to her dad, that her dad is also an ex-cop. So she expressed to him, like, hey, you know, I don't really trust Malcolm. I think this, that, and the third. And he was, like, letting her know, like, you know, the main thing you got to do is trust your partner. Y'all got. You know what I'm saying? Is y'all is gotta have each other back no matter what. So she listening to what he's saying, but she not really listening because, you know, then you cut to another scene of her talking to one of her ex-girlfriends, and, you know, she's asking her ex-girlfriend about Malcolm because I guess the ex-girlfriend used to work with Malcolm in some capacity back in the day, and she was just letting Detective Burke know, like, you know, he doesn't like accepting help. She expressed to the ex-girlfriend, like, you know, she don't trust Malcolm. She think that he lying about what happened or whatever. So now we go on the jukebox. Jukebox is sitting here playing detective her damn self. She's sitting there following her mom. She ended up following her mom all the way to her church. She see her mom in there getting it. She done got in a daydream. She see her mom singing. You know, she's kind of enthralled with that. So her mom and her locked eyes, and her mom saw her. Now, obviously, whether she's seen her daughter in years, you know who your child is. So she saw her, and then, like, that made Jukebox, like, scared. So she ran away, like, and she ran fast. Like, she was getting down. She was booking it down them steps like she was running from the law. So her mom tried to follow her, but, like, her mom kind of had apprehension. It didn't seem like the mom really wanted to catch her. That's not the vibe that I really got. It was like she let her get out the door, like she didn't really catch her. But I think she was just like in a state of shock herself. So we cut through all of that. Now Rock, we got a little scene that they had a scene that they had showed us earlier in the week with Lulu and Marvin sitting in the car. Now Jukebox is playing on the radio, and they talking about what's going on, and Marvin like, yeah, I still ain't heard nothing, don't nobody know what's going on, talk to Warrell, whatever. And then Marvin's like, you know, is this Juke on the radio? And he's like, yeah. He's like, she good. And Lulu just like, you know, she been good, basically saying like, you know, you ain't been paying attention, you don't even know what's going on with your daughter. That was, if you read between the lines, that's what he was saying. So, you know, Marvin's like starting to have a moment, you know, like saying like, you know, Dag, like I fucked up things with Juke. And, you know, Lulu ain't, you know, letting him off the hook, just like, yeah, you definitely did mess things up with her. So after that, Marvin, you know, you could tell he's about to get a little emotional. So then he got out the car, was like, you know, I got to get back to finding our shit, because, you know, that's mission number one is finding out who took this money, you know, because they can't even do their re-up without the money. So then Rock, she pulls up on Warrell and, you know, let him know, like, you know, you trying to say something you can't find Unique and this, that, and the third. And he's like, come on, like, you know, if I can't, nobody heard nothing. I didn't find you. He's stuttering. And she basically let him know, like, nigga, if you don't find him, you know, your life depend on this shit. Like, let him know, like, if you don't get in contact with this motherfucker, I'm gonna kill your ass. Because she's starting to get, you know, you start thinking all kinds of stuff. She's starting to think that Warrell is back in bed with Unique and that he helped him take the money. And Warrell is just, like, trying to let her know, like, no, that didn't happen. So then they sell all of the mixtapes, Kanan and Famous. They sell all of the drugs, you know, the fake mixtapes. They sell all of the drugs. And then while they sitting on the step talking about it, Famous still don't have enough money to get a place. So Crown comes walking up to the house, you know, sitting there trying to come see Rock. And he was letting Famous know, like, you know, I know somebody that I get free studio time to. So maybe I could possibly see about if he would let you have a place up in where he stay at. So, you know, Famous all hype, he get all giddy. But, like, Crown keep trying to reiterate, like, I didn't say that it was a for sure thing. I'm saying that it's a possibility that I can help you. Because he's trying to look out for him, you know, because he had that little fake-ass relationship with his sister. So he goes up to the door. Rock sees Crown, and she just trying to figure out what the hell is you doing at my doorstep. Like, she was like, Lulu not here. Like, because basically I know you ain't here to see me. And Crown like, no, I'm here to see you. And she finally let him in. They talking in the kitchen. Crown is trying to get Rock to make Lulu stay away from the studio, like get him back on the street. And he basically is offering her a stake in his studio, in order for her to take Lulu out of the studio, like make him stop doing the music thing, because that would be beneficial to Crown and that would be beneficial to Rock. So, you know, she willing to listen, but then she get the call, I guess either from Marvin or Lulu, and she's like, you know, I gotta go. And Crown was like, please, like, don't tell Lulu that I was here talking to you, because, you know, Crown a straight bitch. So he like, please don't tell Lulu. So she like, I ain't gonna let him know, we never had this conversation type shit. So they meet up with Warrell. It's Marvin got a gun up to Warrell's stomach, and it's Lulu and Rock, and they talking to him because he told them that Unique got in contact with him saying that he wanted to talk. And she just trying to figure out, why is he contacting you? You said you wasn't in business with him no more. But they cut through all of that. They end up going to go meet up with Unique. Unique is sitting there in his old studio that he used to have with a gun up to Julian's neck. And they just sitting there talking. The long and short of the conversation is that Unique is saying, hey, I just want my family safe. Because last episode, his baby mom was expressing to him that she was scared for herself and her son, that Rock might do something to them. So I guess he's just trying to protect them. He don't have no more really quote unquote clout out in the streets. So, well, at least anymore. So they having a discussion, they talking about it, and Rock is just on some shit she ready to kill his ass right then and there. But she asked him to give her his gun, so he got that. So I ain't gonna lie, Unique is bold for that, because they could have just got that gun and fucking asked him where the money was and then popped him right then and there. But they chose not to do that. So she asked him where her money was, and then that's how the episode ended. Now in the previews of the next episode, you see that the cop is sitting there trying to talk to Unique. It looked like Unique, it looked like she probably trying to approach him about being a confidential informant. The Colombians is back in town. They having some conversations with Rock. Rock is just kind of she fucking up to me. From what I see, she's messing things up. She is really destroying the relationship between her and her son, all because she consistently lies to him. And in the episode 3, Juke and Kanan had a conversation about, the cops saying that he was his dad. And when he talked to his mom about it, she lied to him again, was just saying he crazy, he this, he that, and the third. And Malcolm did pull back up on Kanan, look, I know your mom gonna say I'm crazy and this, that, and the third, but he let him know he remember him shooting him, which means that now he got another lie being told to him by his mom, because his mom told him that Malcolm didn't remember him shooting him, that he didn't remember anything. So, like I said, this is going to drive Kanan further and further away from his mom, because she keeps on lying to him. So she doesn't even realize she'd be better off just telling him the truth. But she thinks she know it all. She thinks she got all of the answers, but I'm sure we're going to find out in episode 4 that she don't have all of the answers. So I hope you guys please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get my community up. Hit that like button and subscribe button, and I'm going to see y'all in the next video.